gaming bets, online betting for every esports fan. Dota 2 and Hearthstone, CSGO and Overwatch, StarCraft 2, the choice is yours. Express bets for multiple matches or live bets on the game you are watching right now. Know your way around Dota 2? Make a prediction for picks and bans. Playing CSGO? Guess the number of rounds in a certain match. Daily quests for all participants and all the best choice of payment systems. More than 600,000 users have already made their bets on the spectacular matches since 2011. EGB.com. You know for sure who's gonna win.
Welcome back, ladies and gents, to the Asian Miner here, live in Malaysia, and we are very early on into the day. Actually, we have had actually a pretty interesting first matchup. We had. Is my microphone playing up again, James?
Yeah, stop moving then. Just
Okay.
Stop moving.
Okay.
Yeah, just stay there. Just look this way. That's perfectly fine. Well, they're over here. The trophy's over here. Look at the trophy.
Okay, look at the trophy.
Yeah, so we're going to be going on to Cobblestone now, and indeed, every time MVP play Nuke. Their manager comes over and says, like, we were terrible at Nuke, and just starts laughing. But each time they have a pretty high score. So they're going to start practicing that on a side notes for those of you at home who are interested. But indeed, we're on to Cobblestone now. It is 1-0 to Renegades. And even though that map was a lot more difficult than it should have been for them, theoretically speaking, I don't think they should be too tilted about it. Again, bearing in mind, there are lots of marginal situations which can compound, such as the double smoke diffuses and so on and so forth. So, I mean, I think they can definitely put it behind them and just move on. They are, after all, in the lead. So, MVP, Cobblestone, do you have any expectations in particular, or are you coming into with an open mind?
I think Renegades will be fine here, to be honest. I think it definitely was somewhat of the case of Renegades choosing Nuke because they're like, oh, okay, you know, MVP had a really hard time on it, and even though it's maybe a map that Renegades aren't necessarily super comfortable on themselves, they're kind of just picking what they felt like was the weakness of MVP as opposed to maybe what they would be, you know, more comfortable on themselves. And so I think now that Nuke is gone, I think we can just, you know, get rid of that completely, just, you know, that performance, because that wasn't a comfortable Renegades. We didn't really see good performances from them individually, really, the kind of performances we were expecting. And now moving into Cobblestone, a map which they play a lot more, I think we have a return to normalcy here. And they're starting off on the T side, which is perfect for them.
MVP focusing on the B bomb site. They've got Rinda playing close to the door on A, so it could be a fast full rotation from the CT side. Off to a good start. Nobody in the drop zone. HSK putting in great work. Nothing but headshots coming in from both sides, but almost all the frags are with MVP. Only one man taken down. That is a great start for them. Again, they kept people away from the connector area, which is quite smart. Renegades using the numbers game there, but MVP had the range and used it. HSK doing really good work from the chicken coop.
Yeah, so Renegades getting blown up there, but they will throw in the force buy. And the interesting thing here as well is that they haven't. I mean, it's difficult to get grenades out in this round, but they've got 3 Tech 9s, a Deagle, a P250. They're really focusing on the firepower. One smoke grenade could go quite a long way in a round like this. if they are to finish with a rush onto the B-bomb site, which is very likely. I think from this perspective, for Renegades, you never really want to just run into the B-bomb site. The majority of teams, although actually we're not seeing this opening from MVP, but the majority of teams will actually have 4 players on B very early into the round, and they may even pre-nade this area to stop a very fast rush. So it's just smart to just wait and then go for the rush, maybe around the 1 minute mark or something. And that's, I think, what we should expect from Renegades, but we'll have to see what they decide to do.
What's interesting is MVP, they've mostly gone for rifles, which means less grenades, and now in this situation they have 2 flashbangs, and that is about it. So we'll see how those come into play a bit later on. Yam's in a very forward position here. Over towards the A site. MVP again, smartly using the ranges where possible. They have sound around the drop, but he's got a UMP, so that's fine. Rinder also is in a position to go between connector and A with his FAMAS. My English is failing me today. Yam's really forward now. The question is, he needs to get a pick. I mean, it's all great, all well and good that he's forward, but they needs to be able to pinch a site or get some kills here. Not going well so far. Again, MVP abusing the range. And Renegades running out of plays now. Reke finally gets a kill, but will they get the bomb on the... Well, it's on the floor, but maybe not much else expected here. 10 seconds, so some damage done. A rifle taken away, which won't be collected. It will be collected, of course. Argentina manages to swap out just in time. Good stuff by him.
Yeah, so 2 frags, not the end of the world, but I think Renegades are a little bit sad that they did not get a bomb plant in there as well somehow, but it's full eco time for them, so MVP will have the ability to build up a bit of a buffer on the monies, the Mahonis. And I do wonder actually, where Renegades will find their edges against MVP on this map, because this is quite a difficult map to play for the CTs. It's hard to get aggressive, and we'll have to see whether that's something that's going to help MVP or if it's going to be something where they struggle, because some teams do get a lot more value out of their players if they can have more aggression, and some teams actually have a better time with spots where their players don't have to make as much decisions or not have as many decisions to make. I was about to see where MVP lie in that classification as the push comes in with the rocks, and they are just going to get completely destroyed. There's not really much for them to do in this situation, trying desperately to get the plant down, and Azza should never be allowed to make this plant, and he will not get it in the end. So 1 frag, pretty good actually, all things considered, for Renegades, considering what they bought, and now into the next round.
On to the next one. 4 kills on the board so far for Renegades. By time though, that should change dramatically in the coming rounds. Sound and Rinder going to continue with FAMASes, not too terrible. There's a French gun though. HSK on the AWP, the only AWP on the server at the moment. He is headed towards the B-bomb site for the time being. Going towards the chicken coop. So many players for Renegades headed in his direction. That's a very nice flashbang to allow him to peek. I like that. I haven't seen that before. Doesn't mean people haven't been doing it. But anyway, Renegades with a focus towards B. Argentina just about spots for Eustelo, just about gets a kill. Nice upgrade for him onto the AK as well. And it seems Renegades are going to continue with this charge.
Yeah, they've actually got a good opening, potentially 2 CTs, just lodged up against the statue there for the moment. Az is able to wrap around, finding the player on the chicken coop. Good pick to make. However, still a couple of players going down here for Renegades. They're not looking in the best shape at the moment. Still having problems removing all the CTs from the bomb site as the reinforcements has arrived, leaving just Rike and JKS as the last man standing. The bomb just barely going down in time. That is small consolation, but a consolation it will have to be as the round we picked up for MVP. 3 rounds for MVP, soon to be 4 as Renegades do fail on their first buy round.
It's another good start for MVP. Another good start for MVP. So, but again, Renegades with a game up, they're not going to be worried, not going to be concerned, despite the hardship at the beginning. So Renegades going to be back on the buy, and the bomb plant will be a great help for that. Lacking in grenades though. Does this mean another fast play? 2 smokes they could potentially partly wall off the A site, for example. Sorry, B. They're going to start with a few players towards A, as per usual. We have Sign playing close to the door. Ooh, Eustelo going super fast towards B bomb site. Not going to work out for him though. Reminds me of the cobble of old before the stairs were there. Azza moving fast now. They're in a position to split the A site. Sign is isolated around the danger area. Yam's got the high ground, so as Sign tries to reposition, he'll get eliminated.
Yeah, very strange situation. Azza just walking into the drop zone there, and look at all the damage that he's done. More frags for Azza as he just takes them down one by one for the quad kill. And yeah, very weird situation because you had 3 players on the B-bomb side, but no one seemed to have any idea that Azza just walked into the drop zone, which is a little bit strange.
Surprise. Well, Renegades to get their first round on the board. And let's see what MVP choose to do. Argency's on 1750. And he is going UMP no armor. That is very, very strange. I think he's made a mistake there. I'd much prefer a 5-7 and armor to a UMP no armor. But everyone to their own. He is playing, the position he's playing as well, I mean, he could get, actually, fortunately for him, the T's don't have any grenades. Like high explosive grenades, that is. So he won't get blown up. Playing close to the crack in the wall over towards B. Sign, waiting for good timing to pop up to say hello. This would be a good one. They've got grenades in their hands. But, oh, just a little bit too slow there. And that's 2 players taken down for MVP. Massive advantages for Renegades now.
Yeah, it should be pretty hard for Renegades to not find the close on this round. Although that's the bomb is moving into a position where maybe you could get taken down. There is a CT in the vicinity. Rinder, could he? Oh, he's just going to barely miss the bomb going across. Looking for more players here. Rinder needs to pull the trigger soon. There it is. After realizing no one else was coming, at least not yet. But he didn't get the information that the bomb was making its way across until it's a little bit too late there. However, his teammates will be close to the A-bomb site. JKS with a nice peek. Finds a good timing, a good angle onto Rinder. And Argency and HSK in an impossible situation here. They're going to have to try to go in for the save. See if they can keep those weapons alive. But Renegades have a very good position to deal with this. A flank set up from Azza. JKS goes in the front, which is where he seems very comfortable. Doing quite well on the entry work so far. So Renegades looking to take this round pretty effectively, but can they get rid of this AWP here? It's a great position for HSK, to be honest.
I really think Argency should have gone 5-7 with at least Kevlar. UMP naked, because he was playing in around this position where HSK is, obviously on the lower floor for the CT side. And it just so happened that Renegades had loads of Molotovs, loads of flashbangs. If they have high explosives and they throw them towards that crack, then he would have been annihilated. But I mean, playing the close positions anyway, I think the 5-7 would definitely be viable. Not sure if he had a 5-7 or CZ equipped, but there we go. AWP is saved for MVP. And now it's really awkward for the MVP side, because if they... I mean, do you try and save the AWP for a buy round in the situation? If you do, then how on earth do you do that? You've got to go aggressive at some point, just like that, and get a nice early advantage. I mean, this is a round that MVP could potentially win. They've invested some money in pistols because they want to win a round. But at some point, I mean, there's a tipping point surely where you try and save that AWP. Argency with a USP kill at close range onto Azza. But now the AWP has been lost. 2 kills for MVP. I don't know if Sign is in a position to save the AWP. So maybe we will see Renegades pick it up if they want to AWP on the T side, what everybody does. You can use it towards A, I suppose. And indeed, JKS will collect the AWP.
So hard times in the MVP camp as the money begins to build for Renegades. And they can decide to, I mean, they could go for a buy, but I think it's pretty smart to go for a bit of a half buy in this situation for MVP, because they don't have to force out the awkward buys just yet. There was actually an era of time when this kind of money, this like CT sides would actually just go for buys, and it was very painful. I think that's the era of just general force buying, general force buying, and it never really works out when you don't have any grenades, and especially if you are denied an AWP, also a problem. So I really like that they're deciding to go very conservative, actually. Yeah, they could have even bought a little bit more with the money that they had, but very conservative indeed. Ooh, this is a great position here for Sign. There's one, could get a second, but goes for the gun immediately there. It's a bit greedy. Could have just kept the CZ out and potentially gotten a second kill.
Yeah, that's a massive mistake from him.
I've seen that a few times in the last couple of days, actually.
Yeah, that's far too greedy. You don't know what's around the corner. You can't be staring at the floor in that situation. 2 more CZs. So indeed, Argency does have a CZ rather than a 5-7. But still, I think that would have been more viable, a lot more viable than the UMP with no armor in this here position, which is where he was standing in that particular round. I can't let it go down. I just can't let it go.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just very greedy. And I'm always thinking when I see players not make that mistake, I'm inside, I'm happy. I'm like, I'm so happy he's playing patiently here. And sometimes you see players go the other way where they're very conservative and they just don't go for the gun at all in similar spots. But
yeah, the gun can also be used as bait. But anyway, Renegades, they've got 30 seconds to clear out this crossfire. Rinda, CZ, good for 1 kill. Argency is miles away, so the bomb should go down here. Renegades mostly in high health. So this will be of little concern once they discover where Argency is. But yeah, I mean, depending on the type of gun as well, if it's an AWP, for example, then you can use it as baits for somebody to try and retrieve and or protect. But there we go. It is Mika round for MVP. 4-4, they'll be back on the bye now.
yeah, and the other thing to quickly note as well is that you, with the CZ there, you basically do exactly the same thing at that range as if you had an AK as well. So it's, yeah. Anyway, we can move on. We can move past this. Let's move past this now. We've got 4-4 indeed, and we have the double op here for MVP. Ricket on the op there for Renegades. We shall wait and see what exactly the approach will be from Renegades. One would expect at this point the default to come out, where you spread players across the map. You get typically, oh okay, I just have to hold that for because Ustillo once again going very quickly.
Oh,
wow, that is fantastic work there from Ustillo. Downs HSK. That's one of the 2 oppers immediately in the first 20 seconds of the round. That is a big kill, and they can just play very passively now and see if there's a response. And kind of force MVP to split the defense up. It's so stressful playing this map with 4 players early on the CT side.
Very good start from Ustillo in this round. So what's going to happen when the smoke disappears? Sound starting to back off, maybe because of the warning shots being fired from Rikke. Minutes on the clock. And, Rinda with a very aggressive push. There was a flash involved as well. Didn't really work out though. Big disadvantages. You've got to respect MVP for trying to pull an advantage back in a disadvantaged situation. Sometimes things don't go your way. Sometimes Ustillo is going to shoot you in the face. Argency and Cyan resigned to saving. However, there is a flank coming in from JKS, who swiftly gets taken down. So nobody behind the MVP players. All the T's coming from the B bomb site. They've got a lot of money in the bank, the Renegades, so they can hunt for these final 2 players on the CT side. Renegades perhaps in a good position. I like the continuation spray from Argency. Didn't work out though. Good position to take a nice lead now, because there is no money on the CT side. And again, there's cash here for Renegades. So even if they both die, it's worth them hunting for this AWP, which will be taken away.
Yeah, big money is a bit scary for MVP at this point. Renegades can pretty much do whatever they want. Again, we're seeing some crazy stuff here from Ustillo, really trying to embody that role of the super, very high-skilled rifler type deal, where you want to be very explosive. This can be a very good map for it. And I think classically when Cobblestone, when it came out and when it was developed into its revised form as we know it now, that was one of the places where Olofmeister, made his stardom known with aggressive plays down plateau. And another aggressive play coming in here as Renegades they just take positioning through drop zone. They are able to get themselves together through onto the middle area, playing as 4, which is really nice to see. It's a good anti-eco approach. And so far it's going very well. They don't even have to trade because no one's dying. They've got the trade set up in every occasion pretty much. So bomb down, and that's going to be the round 1.
HSK seems to... Where is he going? Okay, he's going around the long way to find some eco frags. I was wondering if he's trying to save a deagle, but no. They're at maximum loss bonus anyway in this situation. So he can do some damage to the T economy. Still a fair few rounds to play. Has he been spotted? He has. And he will be dealt with accordingly. You may dispense with the pleasantries.
We had to pause. It must surely be a tactical for MVP here, and
yeah, it's pause from Argency. Yep.
So I mean, they're in a spot, and this really sucks. this really sucks when you're in this position because on the CT side of Cobblestone, what can you do? I mean, a lot of teams don't like playing this map because on the CT side, they just don't have the freedom that you have on Dust 2, on a Mirage, on a Cache, maps, and on Overpass, on all of those maps in the map pool. You can get aggressive, you can take control of the situation, and there's always options to take. So it's kind of frustrating on Cobblestone because you don't really have that ability, but what you can do with the timeout is you can try to bring everybody onto the same page. You can try to calm everybody down, refocus everybody, make sure everyone is in a position to be performing, especially as things can tend to get away from people sometimes. It depends on the kinds of players you have on your team as well. Some players are very emotional, which is totally fine, but you just have to understand how to
I'm very emotional.
An emotional player as well.
I'm a very emotional man. This is actually a complete lie. 2 players in the B bomb site, Argency and HSK. HSK ever the dangerous AWPer. Sign is going to be wielding the Mag 7 on this round, which is interesting. On the previous round it was Argency, but Sign, good place, good time, good weapon. Close range, always good for a meaty Mag 7. Smoke will be a pain for Renegades, and maybe that will allow Sign to try and retrieve the gun. Ill-advised at the moment with that spray coming into the T's.
Yeah, and actually, having Sign there, winning 1 versus 1s should potentially force an adaptation from Renegades, which we can go into in a second. Because HSK, I mean, is he going to win the battle of patience here? Will Ricky start moving forwards with the AWP? Right now, there's a lot of pressure on HSK. He lost a teammate. He's going to go for the pick. And that was essentially what pushed him over the edge to make the decision, was a teammate going down. And he will fall victim to Ricky. He was waiting. And that should be the round here. And quickly, we can note that Renegades lost a man on long. A lot of teams' default has, at the start of the round, 3 people towards the A side of the map, so that instead of pressuring B plateau heavily or drop zone heavily, you get to force the CTs back on A long first, and then you play out the rest of the round. You can then send 2 players back towards B if you want to or do whatever, but you just want to pressure those players out of the position. You don't want a one-on-one where you can't have a teammate plot flashing for you on A long. That's a common default as well.
MVP in another situation where they need to be saved by the Church of Gaben then.
Yeah. It does seem that Renegades are getting better individual performances from this map. And I think you just generally did see that they were out of their comfort zone previously.
3-round lead for Renegades at the moment. MVP, they've got some money to buy. Maybe somewhat awkward though if they choose to do that. Let's see what they are going to do. Yeah, they're going to go for the buy. So double Mag 7 coming out for the CT side. Quite curious to see where this is going to go. They've got really good utility though, so they've made sacrifices in order to perhaps have map control by way of grenades. Let's find out if that will work out for them. 3 CTs over towards B as per usual. Very forward position from MVP towards A, which would make sense with these Mag 7s. Great start from HSK. Sign getting taken down by JKS. Indeed, the forward positions, there were 2 people there, but it will become 1. There is a lot of rotation going on from MVP. They are moving very closely, maybe expecting a full push on the A site, but they will have 2 players going back towards B. So we can expect HSK to be very active in this round, trying to
and slowly allowing Renegades to take forward control. At push, they are starting to feel like a B-split could be coming, but Renegades, they're not going to do a B-split just yet. They're just taking control of drop zone. Now, then with the 45 seconds left, they can actually just leave Yusilo in this position if they wanted, but is he actually going to go aggressive? You've got to be careful here because the bomb hasn't been picked up, so you don't want to make a play too early and then kind of ruin the value of your position.
Speaking of too early, there are 30 seconds left on the clock and that bomb needs to be collected, but Yam and JKS doing great work over towards the A site. Sign isn't in a great position. I mean, technically he is, but with a Mag 7, his range is extremely limited. Although now he can pick up the AK and everything changes. The bomb, however, has already made its way across towards the site, so he can't stop that from happening. And he's one of only 2 players left, so there's only so much he can do. Bomb going to get planted with a few seconds left on the clock. And Sound is miles away. He's retreating, leaving Sign to die on his lonesome. He's like, nope, sorry, mate, I'm off to T-Sport. That's
really funny as well, because Sign actually was waiting for ages so that Sound could get into that position, so that he could actually do something. Because he could have, if it feels like if Sound was always going to save, then Sign would have also saved, in that position, like at least falling back a little bit further, and caught the exits from a better off angle. But never mind. Poor Sign. No AK for him. And another round from Renegades that looks very convincing. And again, just look how methodical it is. They are able to take down drop zone with the appropriate smokes and flashes. They implant Easterlo in that position, and then slowly they're building. They're using similar tactics on the A side of the map with 4 players to get the picks, or 3 players initially to get the picks, or potentially just clear out that space. But then they've got the play set up. They've got Easterlo in the drop zone. He can cut off rotations. And the players who are moving through A, they just have to make the kills onto the bomb site. And it hasn't even gotten. We haven't seen a complication really for Renegades in these positions. They just generally everything does just go to plan.
2 rounds left in the first half. See if MVP can hold, if they can retain. Mag 7 makes an appearance once again. Yusilo very quickly into the drop this time. Changing the pace are Renegades, sending Yusilo in. He is very good at being a one-man meat grinder here. 2 for 2 right now. HSK has a good position to take him down though, especially with that smoke there. Yusilo's done his job. Everyone else is dead. HSK will get wrecked by Ricke's Tech 9. And Renegades make it to double figures. A lovely round from Renegades, using Yusilo towards the plateau, using him in the drop zone, and changing the timing as well. So many differences. MVP don't know what to be prepared for. And it's working really well for Renegades at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of a rough map to start off on the CT side, to be honest, generally speaking. MVP might have a decent T side themselves, but you can see that they are a little bit helpless on their CT side. And Renegades have way more in the terms of map knowledge and tactics and so on, and drills. The comfort is very clear. Ricky going for the play onto the drop zone here. 3 players towards A for MVP. It's going to work out magnificently there. And HSK also picks himself up an AWP frag. So good start here for MVP to maybe take the 5th round of the first half. Ricky though, nice no-scope straight through the smoke. Argency was not expecting that. Another player, I think we had a CT. Yeah, Sal actually crept behind the entire push here. Coming back in now, the smoke's gone away. Oh, Ricky, very, very important shot there for him. 3 versus 3 now for Renegades. Or maybe not. A couple fast frags makes all the difference. And Renegades could never quite get off the plateau. It looked good for a moment, but the 2 frags to open things up from MVP did the job.
5 to 10. Renegades in a driving seat at the moment. MVP. I'm looking forward to this pistol round. After we had the double stack on the T pistol from MVP on Nuke, one can only imagine what they have prepared in this round.
Yeah, they do have a lot of cool pistol rounds, actually. I think that's definitely a theme for MVP, of MVP. All the pistol rounds. Okay, so what are we going to see from them this time? Is it going to be just super basic? We're going to get matchmaking tier. Nothing wrong with matchmaking tier for the pistol rounds, that is. Sometimes simple is the best way. Okay, Yam's going to be in for a very nasty surprise. Oh, there's a pop flash. Uh-oh. Sees all the players' rotation starts to come in. What can Yam do? 1 frag, but that's all he's good for.
Yeah, they've spotted a bomb, however. The question is, will MVP commit? You see Sign waiting for the flank and takes it down. Now the bomb can rotate back towards the bomb site, but I think in this situation, Sign has to get over towards Plateau and find out what's going on. He's moving into the drop, it seems. Still 2 players for Renegades over towards A, and MVP are heading back here So they've chosen to split the A bomb site instead with Sign coming through connector. I like it. Let's see if it works out. We've got JKS on the site on his own, and now Sign's trying to cut off the rotation, but Azza will find that player. There's the bomb down for JKS. Gets himself in 1 versus 1. More headshots flying through, and Renegades take that straight back from MVP. What do you think of those final decisions there?
I think MVP actually made some great decisions because they were very advanced already in the A-bomb site, and they kind of preserved their very fast timing and made it look like they were rotating to B, kind of like selling it really. I think that was decision-making wise, I think that was actually completely fine for them. But the only problem is, you know, USPs on the pistol round, you've got players with the skill of Azza and JKS. Sometimes you just get shot in the face.
Yep, sometimes you just get shot in the face. That pistol round, though, is a great victory for Renegades, because we might be looking at a 13-5, which is a monstrous start when you're moving into a second half buy round rather. We're okay with a nice hold so far. Again, MVP, I feel like 100% of the time they're ecoing after losing a pistol, but I'm not sure if it's necessarily a good thing to do 100% of the time. Bearing in mind how dominating the score is for Renegades, I think sometimes, I mean, doesn't mean necessarily on this occasion, but sometimes you need to take a decision to kind of hedge your bets, for lack of a better term.
You have to consider the map, really. And if you're on T side on Cobblestone, you're not lost for options with the Tech9s and Kevlar. You really are not lost for options. So I agree with you there. The pressure is so valuable. And, you know, they're in this situation now where they commit to the eco.
Wow.
I mean, that's a pretty smart kill there from Sound. What else can you get from this? We have JKS back in on the action. Okay, so it's all cleaned up. But yeah, I agree completely. I think that's something that they should probably revise in the future. I do like that they like to play conservatively with their economy, but
yeah, but the problem is if you're 100% of the time double ecoing, then your opponent, if they know you're going to do that because you do it every single time, your opponent can select their weapons accordingly, and they're always going to have a great economy because you're not applying any pressure really to their weapons if you don't have like a significant plan. So yeah, it's a double-edged sword, but definitely I would say 100% of the time is probably not the best idea, because if you're predictable, then you're exploitable.
it's just not optimal in every situation. But most teams tend to be the inverse and don't do it enough. But they eco too much, for sure. Either way, it has afforded them a very strong buy round here. They got everything that they could possibly want. Although, interestingly, they have chosen to not get an AWP. And they are up against a lot of SMGs here. And there's a very strong setup here from Renegades. They've got a lot of players in position. Ricky's got a great one. Look at Azza going through the smoke there. That is a brutal play. Just finding the perfect moment to exploit the distraction. And that decimates the lines of MVP now, just down to 2 players, one of which, Rinda, is very weak indeed. What are the options now as they try to go back? Well, the options are being destroyed because Rinda's left with 16 HP and no teammates.
Yeah, this sucks. It sucks for Rinda, and down he goes. Renegades have way too much money so early into the second half. Look at the cash. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Well. Pardon?
Sorry, they played that round very well. If you consider all the different options they could have taken, they kind of stacked very forward in the middle area. That's a really cool round from the Renegades. And then their flank timing was really good as well. And Azza's timing of when he pushed the smoke, also very perfect. It's hard to stop that.
So MVP are going to be playing against match points if they are not successful in this round, that is. So they've kept around $2,000 in the bank per person. They don't have enough smokes to go for, say, a wall of smokes in the A bomb site. And Usilo and co won't give them the opportunity to do anything they were planning because they are rabidly aggressive. Rinda and Argency, last 2. Bombs on the floor as well, and 3 Renegade players are ahead of the bomb. So there we go. That is a very shut down round by Renegades. 10 match points.
Yeah, this doesn't feel... I mean, this is going to feel awful if MVP kind of lose this way, because I think they're going to be in a situation where they sort of feel like they never really got to play, like really play their Cobblestone. They started off and played a lot of rounds on a map which they don't really practice or aren't really prepared for, which is Nuke. When they come into Cobblestone, it gets completely shut down in the first half, and then that just almost shuts them down out of the game after losing the pistol. And it's all on this round. And Renegades are set up very well to deal with it. 4 players early towards B, and that's where the push is.
I think HSK is boosted towards the plateau, but he's jumped down now. And we see another boost here. As they're biding his time, crouching. I mean, often people will just stand and hold the angle here. But he's going for the element of surprise. There we go, Sign with a nice boost of his own, and as will be forced from his position. There's actually another boost that the T's can do just at the beginning, at the entrance to that arch, which if there's somebody at the back of the drop, they can spot their head. And Reckham, speaking of Rex, Ricket's going to get taken down by MVP, who still have a minute on the clock to work with. JKF getting aggressive now, and Argency will be taken down. He will avenge his fallen teammate. Sound is susceptible as well. Flashbanged, nice spray from JKS, using this sound to guide his vision as well. 3 versus 2 as Sign and Rinda try to split the B bomb site. There goes the bomb, and there may go Renegade's chances, sorry, MVP's chances. That's a 1 versus 1. Yusilo, of course. Who else to finish things off? 16-5. A super strong performance on Cobblestone from Renegades.
Yeah, and it's a completely different team. An absolutely different team there, Renegades, on Cobblestone. We saw so many things we saw none of on Nuke, which was, very comfortable individual performances. It really felt like they had an answer to more or less every single situation, either be it an individual performance, either it's tactically, or just from the general experience that they have clearly on the map. So that's definitely going to be very shocking for MVP to go out in that fashion. And you can see that display from Renegades, that's the result of them having so much experience now in North America and all the experience with the new lineup. Yes,
definitely the expected result. Maybe not in the fashion we expected, especially towards Nuke, I'd say, on the Renegade side. But yeah, overall a strong performance from them. Again, I don't know that the score on Nuke tells the entire story, again, with those marginal situations. So I'd say overall it's quite a reasonable performance from Renegades as they move forward in the bracket.
Yeah, and it's time to bring our analysts back. Welcome back to the desk, Mr. Scoots and et al.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you for not jinxing it. Ended up being Renegades after all.
Most welcome.
Again, much stronger on that map for sure. Good job. All right, gentlemen, let's talk about it. That was a heck of a run of rounds by Renegades. I mean, MVP, we kind of talked about their pistols a lot.
Right.
They didn't win any pistols in the first map.
Yeah.
They win that first pistol coming into this one, and you were like, oh, well, they jinxed themselves probably because they do good on pistols, and then they start falling apart. They won the first 4 rounds.
Yeah.
And that was basically almost it. One more round, the entire match.
Yeah, that's definitely not enough, is it? Yeah, they win the pistol round, and then they win the first weapon round as Renegades just go for a B play. And then it's all Renegades afterwards. They just keep him MVP really honest, getting all the picks everywhere. All the B executes work fine as well. It's, again, I think a testament to the fact that if you apply enough pressure on MVP, they kind of get disorganized. They don't really, they're just not good at playing off each other, like understanding how to find the angles of making sure you're there to have a refrag or so that you can delay your opponent enough for rotations to come in. All that kind of little things, subtle things that need to be a part of your game.
And I think, obviously, like a lot of the problems that MVP run into become exaggerated because of the fact that they're playing CD side on Cobble, and they're getting their economy reset pretty much all the time. So they get a maximum of 1 weapon round at a time, which is obviously, like, if you want to get into flow of things, it's a massive issue for you. So you get to that one chance to try something that, maybe you want to try a new setup because you're feeling that Renegades are, putting heavy focus on towards drop or towards long plateau. So you want to, go with extra men here or there to apply some pressure. And it doesn't work that time, but instead of, being able to go into the next round, making a tiny adjustment that might just be the right thing, you're going to have to wait another 2 more rounds. And, there's definitely something to be said about, having a good feeling, as arbitrary as it sounds, it is something that exists. Like, you kind of have intuition plays into a lot of things, and that, you need to be in the flow of things for that to actually work out, to get a good feel for what your opponent is doing. And MVP never really got into that kind of a game because they got shut so heavily down by the Australians.
And I also think it kind of a testament to like how decisive the match was towards Renegades is that the only one-on-one situation, there was only one 1vx round in that whole
Yeah.
match.
Yeah.
Won by Renegades as well.
Well, and we always talk about how this game is a very momentum-based game, depending on the team. But generally,
Yeah.
you want to get your momentum going, and if you're losing, you need to stop their momentum, right? And like you said, they just never broke them.
Yeah,
they never really broke them.
And they only got the one chance at a time.
Yeah, not good. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and bring you guys up to speed with the actual frags and the impact rate and all that good stuff. What's jumping out, Vendetta?
Well, JKS finally showed up, so that's pretty nice. And we said that going into this game, the fact that that ace up their sleeve that they have in JKS, because he hadn't really been a part of the first two maps. No, the first map. That's obviously something that they can rely on. And we at that point we'd kind of seen everything that MVP has to offer in terms of like what players have been standing out here and there. And you kind of see the impact of it as well, right? Like if you want to go directly to the impact rating, like a 7.7 is the highest actually we've had all tournament.
I think so, yeah.
From JKS. So shows kind of goes to show how many more weapons and how many more strings that the Renegades team has to play on compared to MVP.
Yeah, 113 ADR as well for JKS, and just all around good game from those guys. On the MVP side, I mean, I pointed out before the game that it kind of needs to be HSK, Exine, and Rinda usually to be the three main characters for the team to make it happen. And it seems like everyone else except for Exine really took a game off once again.
And as you already noted, JKS sitting at the top of that side, the board with his impact rating. He's going to be our MVP. So let's take a little detailed look at his information.
Not really one for sharing in this game, only one assist.
Fair amount of headshots.
So obviously, you can already label JKS as a terrible teammate.
Yeah.
No, but
Hashtag terrible.
Yeah. No, but he obviously he did a great job, and it was kind of the game you want to see from him, because when Renegades started doing better and better versus international teams, it was largely off of the performance of him and as a. And then especially JKS being the one leading the charge. And for the last, I want to say, like 6 months or so, he hasn't been the same kind of a player that you expected him to be. You expected to see a steady progression to the point where he's going to be like the very clear player that somebody, let's say like a Liquid or a Cloud9 would pick up for their team. And he would eventually leave the rest of the Australians, end up in an NA team, and conquer the world, that type of thing. But it never really happened. Instead, it was Azza who became the go-to player for Renegades. But you can see what kind of an impact JKS still is able to have on a team, and it's just that if you can find that consistency to do it each and every game, that's when you get Renegades actually being in a position where they can upset some of the better teams in Europe and NA.
Yeah, I mean, if especially since they had a T-half to start things off, you gotta have to have JKS and Azar, too, in my opinion. That needs to be up on the scoreboard, especially if it's been a very rifle-heavy instead of an opping kind of a T side for them. So it all only makes sense considering how the scoreline went as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Now, keep in mind, if you're an MVP Project fan, they're not out yet. They just got to drop down to the lower bracket. So they're still in this tournament. They still got a shot to make their way towards that major. They will play the loser of our next match. So after the break, when we come back, it's going to be Tyloo taking on VG Cyberzen, the battle for China after the break.